What's up, guys? Something crazy just happened at the barbershop. I just left the barbershop. I haven't been there in weeks. Something, if you'd have told me this 5 years ago, I never thought would happen. Never. But I'll tie it into this video because I had a specific thing I wanted to talk about in the video today. But when this happened to me at the barbershop, I'm just like, wow, this fits right in. So I'll explain to you what happened in a few minutes. Hope you guys are doing well. Listen, one of the reasons I don't make a lot of videos, because a lot of people don't watch my videos. It doesn't get pushed out and stuff like that. So if you guys could do me a favor, if you do want me to keep making videos, either way, if you do or you don't. But if you do, just do the normal stuff, man. Just hit the like button. You know, comment and say, hey, Jerry, you're an idiot or whatever. And just be a little interactive if you want me to keep making videos. Anyways, I was born January 19th, 1975. 1993 was a big year for me, right? It was probably my favorite year of all time. Just from the start of it, part of it was bad. Michael Jordan retired that year. I remember I was very sad about that. But other than that, it was just a great year. I turned 18 in the beginning. That was my year of my graduation. Became an adult and everything was cool. Well, let me give you the setup of how my life was back then. I had a pager, right? I was a cool dude in school. I was one of the cool kids, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Nerdy, but cool. I had a Nintendo. Loved the game Tecmo Bowl, Super Tecmo Bowl. I don't know when that came out. I was very active. I played basketball. Went to parties. Never drank. I never drank before. Very active with the ladies. I was a ladies' man, class clown. When you talk to girls back then, you write them little notes. In my house, I had a small little TV in my bedroom. I had a clock, a regular clock, and then I remember I got a digital clock. That's the only thing I can remember that's digital, as you can see from the title of this video. In the house, we had a microwave. We had cable TV. We had a house phone. I didn't have a computer. I didn't have a cell phone. I had everybody's number written down in a phone book. So I literally had to dial people's numbers because I called people a lot. I used to be on the phone a lot when I was in the house. But again, I was active. So when I went out, somebody wanted to talk to me. They would page me because I had a car. And I would go to a payphone or whatever the next area I went to, either a friend's house or my house or wherever. I would call them back. I had a girlfriend, had a lot of friends. And life was good, man. Like, life was very good, but very different than it is today. And 30 years, fast forward 30 years, and it's 2023. And it just hit me. I don't know why I haven't made a video about this, but it's just like, I was living in such an analog world back then, especially with money, because I don't ever remember, I didn't pay anything in a credit card or anything back then. Everything was cash, everything. And I was living in a very analog, physical world. Nothing I don't remember was really digital. When I went to school, I had books. I think we had computers in one of the teachers' rooms or something like that. But I don't really remember working on computers that much. I think we did. We had a black screen with green letters. But it wasn't connected to the internet. The internet didn't really get going until like 94, 95, something like that. So for me, internet was not part of my whole childhood. And when I became a quote unquote adult at 18. Well, life was so good back then, but it's so different than it is now. Again, fast forward to today, 30 years later, 48 years old. And if I would have told myself back then what my life is like now, I would have thought I was crazy. I would have never believed it, right? I just left a barbershop, and something unbelievable, again, that I never thought would happen. Last year, now I've been going to this barbershop since I got here, actually. I got to Las Vegas in November 2020. So I've been here almost 3 years now, basically 3 years in a few days. And you know, the prices were the prices, a little cheaper than they are now. But they were more than my old barbershop back in Rochester, New York. And I remember in 2021, they said they're no longer taking $100 bills. Okay, cool, whatever. A lot of people are doing that. And then last year in 2022, they're not taking $50 bills. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. When I was in Rochester, my haircut, because I don't shave myself as an African American male, because sometimes you'll get bumped up with the razors and stuff. I mean, I could do it, but I just let my barber do everything for me. He puts the towel on me, and you know, it's almost like going to a salon or something. And it was $20 in Rochester, and then I'd give them a $5 for a tip. You know, $25. Now a haircut is $40. You know, all this stuff done up. If you cut your hair down. If I just get an edge up and not cut it down, it's cheaper. But if you get a haircut and, you know, the beard and all that, it's $40. So since the price doubled, I doubled the tip. I give them a 10. Sometimes I give them more. Depends, but I just give them the minimum, at least, you know, $10. So that's $50, okay? I'm telling you this because, remember, they just said the year before, they're not accepting hundreds. Then last year, they're not accepting 50s. Today, I was told that starting November 1st, 2023, my barbershop is not taking cash. Now, let me stop right there, man. I do DoorDash, right? And I go to a lot of restaurants. And I told you guys this before. And the more and more restaurants I go to, the more and more I'm noticing that, oh, the largest bill we take is 20. And oh, I'm sorry, our cash machine is down right now. And, you know, we don't accept cash, or all these little things going on. All these little hints written on the wall. I never in my wildest dreams, because I'm the type of person that I love cash. Okay, I love using cash to pay my bills. I will go down to the electric company, the cable company, internet cable, all my utility bills, and I'll go down there and give them cash, and I'll pay my stuff up front, because I don't like people tracking me, you know, and cash is king, and you don't, want to let people know what you're doing. So I have an envelope with cash, because yes, I do pay for things with debit or credit, certain things that you can't with cash. And the more and more time that goes by, the less and less I can do that with cash. I pay it with the cash that they can't track me, man. It's not because I'm doing anything illegal. I just don't want people to know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? They already got a identifying fingerprint on you of what you're doing and coming and going and what you're doing on the internet. Something the least I can do to stay private, or a sovereign citizen or an individual citizen, is pay for cash. Now, I cannot get my hair cut without the powers that be knowing I'm getting my hair cut. And I love my barber, man. He's such a nice guy. I mean, his customer service is so good, but I can't go to that barbershop anymore. I mean, there's certain things that you just can't avoid it, right? You can't avoid not paying a debit or credit card with. It's just certain things you can't. But a barbershop, the world has changed, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why I wanted to bring up the 1993 thing is because I saw on my Facebook page that they were talking about the class of 93, and I missed the the 30-year anniversary of it. It was in the summer or whatever. I didn't go. I'm here in Vegas. And they were talking about that, and everybody was commenting down on that page about the 30 years and stuff, and talking about all the things that we used to do and stuff like that. And coming from our perspective, guys, we're coming from a different perspective, man, because we're awake and we understand what's going on in the world to a certain degree. We don't know everything because we're always searching for new information, because once you think you know everything, you're a know-it-all. You don't try to learn stuff. But when we see these things coming from our perspective of a monetary gold, silver, platinum, Bitcoin, fiat currencies crap lens, in this world is crooked lens, we see the writing on the wall. Analog versus digital. As a 48-year-old man, I set the tone of being an analog person, aka using cash and things like that, because those are physical analog things. I remember when Blockbuster was out. I remember these analog videos, DVDs and tapes, and I had a Walkman that I used to play my music in the 90s. I had, again, a pager, no cell phone. I guess that was digital. Not compared to a cell phone, but it is digital. Very early stages of digital. But when you see the world the way it was back then, and I don't know how old you guys are if you're born in the 2000s or the 90s or whatever, there's been changes in your life too. My grandmother, God rest her soul, she she retired from Kodak. Now, Kodak is one of the biggest companies ever created. Everybody knows Kodak. Rochester, New York is the home of Kodak. Xerox too. But they failed to adapt Kodak, I believe. And the industry and technology in the digital world came, because you know what happened. The digital cameras started coming out. I don't remember the last time I took a Polaroid picture and held it, and how you shake it and stuff like that. I have a bunch of them in my old photo books and stuff, but I haven't held a picture in years that I've actually took myself. I had a house phone in my house in '93. I don't have a house phone now. Do you? Televisions were completely different. I don't have a clock in my house. I got a clock right here and a clock on my phone. You always know what time it is. Your phone, this thing that you're watching me on right now, has given you so many things that your household, technology, calculators, clocks, whatever, televisions, and more. You have a supercomputer that you're holding in your hands. It's unbelievable when you think about where I came from or where some of you guys came from and how different our life is. But even as an old school, older, can't teach a dog new tricks person, I have to understand that I don't care who you are, you will get pushed out for the digital world if you don't adapt to the digital world. In other words, Kodak, Xerox, Blockbuster, all these different companies, because now Netflix is here and all this other stuff. Their industry got taken over by digital things, and they weren't quick enough to adapt. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. My channel is mostly about finances and stuff like that. And we talked about it the other day, getting your mind, body, and spirit right. And all that's true. You got to get that stuff right first. But once you get that stuff right, your mind is so powerful. You're like a magnet, man, okay? When you focus on something in your mind will start seeing these things and attracting these things to you, right? Whatever kind of car you have right now, when you first had that car or wanted to get that car, but mostly when you first got it, what happened? You seen that car everywhere all of a sudden, right? That's why for me and you, the people that our light switches on or we're turned on to some of the things that are going on, when we see that the cash is under attack in America, and we see that our barbershop won't take cash and these restaurants won't take cash, we're coming from a mindset of, oh my goodness, because we're stackers. We study the fiat Ponzi scheme. We know what's going on, right? So when we're seeing these things, we're like, holy crap. But when I talk about your switch getting turned on, I need you to turn it all the way on and get into the digital world, right? I'm preaching to the choir when I'm saying this, by the way. My Bitcoiners out there, when they see my silver, my analog silver, also my analog cash, because I hate using digital money, even though I'm in a digital world, they look at me and they talk to me. They send me emails all the time. What the hell are you doing with that stuff, man? you know, you've taught me more about Bitcoin than I knew from other people, some of my Bitcoiners. Why don't you just sell it? Because that's analog, physical. And it's true, it is. But I'm an old school guy, man. I'm an old dog, like most of you guys. But here's the thing. You're looking at me on the phone right now. You guys use computers on the internet. If the internet turned off right now, how would your life change? Even electricity, which is something we very much, as especially Americans, take it for granted, we take it for granted. That's a form of digital too. Because if you told those boys, the founding fathers and everybody else back in the 1700s, that we're going to turn your electricity off, they'd be like, what electricity? They wouldn't care about it. Some third world countries would say, what electricity? That's a gift that what we have of a digital technology, a digital world versus an analog, lighting a candle or lighting a torch or whatever. You guys are looking at me on the phone. You guys live in a digital world. I don't know if you guys are crazy as me when it comes to cash and buying things with cash. I'm sure some of you are. I don't know to the extent of you are with me, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys pay from your debit card or credit card or whatever. You take your phone and you zap it onto the card reader, like a lot of us do. That's all digital, ladies and gentlemen. 1993 was 30 years ago. Now that does seem like a long time ago, and relatively speaking, depends on the angle you're coming from. I guess it is. It's a big portion of my life. Probably 3/4 of my life, 48, whatever it is. God willing, I'm alive, because I have a friend that's 78. What's this world going to look like in 2053 and 30 years from now? Do you think it'll be more digital or more analog? Ask yourself that. There's a war on cash, ladies and gentlemen. And that war on cash is a war on your freedom and your privacy. Now, I was going to make a specific video about this, but I'll mention it in this video. There's two things that you have to look at and put value on. It's freedom or security. The more you have of one, the less you have of the other. A lot of people don't value freedom. If they knew they were getting a UBI, a universal basic income, which I'll make a video about, and they knew that the government would take care of them, but they take away all their freedoms and they put them inside a 15-minute city. Did I say that? And they know that they don't have a car, they don't own anything, and they'll be happy. And that's a dystopian life. and they can be taken care of. But oh, by the way, you said that Republican guy was good or that Democrat guy was bad or whatever, and you bought too much meat this month. You can't do that. You can't buy any more meat. You hit your quota. You can't save any money because we erased your money. And you can't travel because we don't like the way you talk. But here's your money on the 1st and 15th, though. I'm not with any of that. Again, you're secure. You got nothing to worry about. They're taking care of you. That's why people value a safe and secure job based on their safe and secure degree, which we're brainwashed into getting. But how much freedom do you have? The most secure or maximum security you can get is where? In prison, right? You be locked away in prison, maybe in a hole or something. How much freedom you got? That type of world I just talked about, the 15-minute city and all the things I just talked about, that'd be like prison for somebody like me. I'm 100% valuing my freedom. I don't want any security when it comes to the powers that be or people that are quote unquote above me, the elites or whatever. I don't want any of that. I will take 100% freedom and 0% security. Again, most people won't. They want to be an ostrich. They want to take their head. Literally, this is what an ostrich does if you haven't studied the animal kingdom. They put their head in a hole and they literally think, if I can't see it, they can't see me and it's not there. And hopefully it'll go away. You got to be a man or a woman of action. And the first thing you got to do to take that action is to understand what's going on and wake up and not draw up a world that you want. You got to, before you do that, if you want to create a world you want, you got to realize what the world you're in now. And you are in a digital world. Freedom is not free, ladies and gentlemen. And every single day, I think we got like 400 something days left if you live in America of this administration. And it ain't about Biden. But they got that much time to keep chipping away at our freedoms and our rights as individuals. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to stay in the analog world and keep saying, oh no, I'm not going to use my debit cards, I'm going to use cash. When they take the cash away, because that's going away slowly but surely. What do you think the world's going to look like in 5 years when it comes to cash? It ain't going to look like what it is now. You have to adapt, right? I'm on a mission on this channel, specifically this channel. Now I'm on a different mission out in the world because most people don't stack gold and silver, so I don't have to come to them from that angle. I talk to people about freedom and what's going on in the world of politics and geopolitics and the economy and fiscal and monetary policies. And, you know, I talk to them about gold and silver or Bitcoin, but they're starting at zero. They have no idea what's going on. My precious metal stackers, I have to take a different approach because you guys understand what's going on. The problem is most of you guys are old dogs like me. And you don't want to learn new tricks. You want to keep your world in an analog world with that analog gold and silver. Now, again, if you're new to my channel, I have a lot of silver, okay? I'm not dissing gold or silver or anything like that. But you got to get ready for the digital age. Do you think in 30 years, and by the way, in 1993, when I was buying stuff, I never bought anything with gold and silver. Did you? I'm not saying people don't, around the world, they don't trade gold or whatever. I'm not saying gold is useless. I'm not here to dunk on gold. I love gold. I love silver. It's God's money. It's written in the Constitution. But it's not used as a medium of exchange. It's a decent store of value. Depends on how you value that or how you measure it. So if it wasn't used, gold and silver, used for medium of exchange in 93, It wasn't, or it's not used now today. Do you think in 2053 it'll be used? When we're in a full-blown different world than we are now? I don't know. See, I make these videos because it's not about my life or anything like that, because hopefully I'm about halfway through. I don't know if I'm 60% through, 70. I don't know what I am in my life. This is about the next generation for me. Bitcoin is the way. My precious metal stackers. I've said this once and I say this a million times. I would never tell you to sell your gold and silver. Remember yesterday in my video, if you haven't watched it, I said, I'm not telling you to buy Bitcoin. I'm telling you to learn about Bitcoin and buy Bitcoin up to the level of your knowledge. So here's what I'm gonna get a little bit specific on that. You ever heard of Bitcoin? You have? Buy a little. Do you have a general idea what it is? If somebody say, hey, what's Bitcoin? What if you say, oh, it's digital money, money for the internet? Buy a little bit more. Every time you learn a little something, buy a little more. What kind of money do you use to buy? Because your education on it is way more important than how much you buy, by the way. That's the baseline. Because the only reason you have gold and silver is because you understand. You don't need to learn about the fiscal and monetary policy anymore. You know about that. And you know we live in a digital world. You know about that. But what you don't know is how Bitcoin works, how Bitcoin fixes this problem that a lot of us very spoiled Americans don't understand what we're getting ready to go through. The third world nations understand when they're going through 20, 30, 40, 50, 100% inflation, not only on a daily basis, but on an hourly basis, some of these countries. They understand the power of Bitcoin. But what you have to do is you have to say, okay, every time I learn about it, buy it. And here's how you buy it. The money you use is disposable income. You throw away your bullshit money. What is that? Your cup of coffee. You know the bullshit that you buy, because we all do it. Say, you know what? Let me take the time to, number one, learn this stuff. Forget what Jerry's talking about. Jerry's an idiot. We have a saying in Bitcoin, I've said this a million times. Don't trust, verify. Don't fucking trust me. You don't have to. Excuse my language. You don't have to trust me. Verify. Pull up Bitcoin. Now, you've heard Peter Schiff a million times. You already know what he says about Bitcoin. You already know all the reasons why it won't work and all the things, and say, you know what? Let me listen to Peter Schiff again. Write down all the stuff he says wrong with it, and let me look at the other side. Charlie Munger says it best. Because I used to be a Democrat, by the way. So I know how these Democrats think. Charlie Munger has a saying, in order to argue one side, learn the other side better. In other words, you already know about gold and silver. And it's not gold and silver versus Bitcoin, by the way. I'm just saying. A lot of people try to do that, and I've done that too. Learn the good things about Bitcoin. Argue. Learn how to argue with Peter Schiff, right? Because you already think Peter Schiff's right. And I'm talking about the gold bugs out here mostly. Some of you silver guys are open-minded. But most of you gold bugs, man, you just like, man, you just want to keep that gold. There's nothing wrong with keeping it. But, oh, man, I just can't buy any Bitcoin. I can't buy $1, man, because it's just going to kill me if I buy that. Look at the counter arguments, ladies and gentlemen. All right? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave you with this. You have to learn how to adapt. You have to adapt to a digital world. And you cannot be in a digital world with analog assets. Gold and silver are great for a store of value and to pass down to your children, but you're not going to be able to transact in that. You are going to be transacting and being enslaved by CBDCs. But in order not to be, you need to get a form of digital money, just like gold and silver, that are for the people, of the people, and by the people, and ran by the people. And that digital money is Bitcoin. That's what it is. Again, don't trust me, verify. And I'm going to say this. If you don't adapt, the world's just going to run you over. You know that. Think about Kodak and Xerox and Blockbuster and all that. Get out of your analog head and get into the digital world as quick as you can. I love each and every one of you. and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.